The following is an extract from our list of murdered workers and intellectuals. We have definite information relating to over 500 murders carried out by the Nazis since March 3rd, and below we give the detailed particulars of 250. Our sources of information are official German announcements, press reports which have not been denied, and authenticated reports of witnesses. It must be borne in mind that the list is only a small selection of the total number of murders, most of which are concealed by the rigorous censorship and the threats made by the Nazis to relatives and friends and witnesses. 1933, March 3rd, Goedes, communist member of the Diet, Oldenburg, shot in the street. Wolf Telegraph Bureau. Unknown communist, Hamburg, killed by a revolver shot. WTB. Wolf Telegraph Bureau. Unknown Reichsbanner man, Bremen, shot in the street. WTB. Unknown worker, Bernburg, shot by National Socialists. WTB. Gustav Segenbrecht, Berlin, shot in the Stephan Inn. Lebenswaldstrasse 41. Report from witness. Bernhard Wirsching, Berlin, Petristrasse 8-9, shot by Nazis in his flat. Report from witness. Ebeling, a Magdeburg worker, killed in the Breckenstrasse by a shot through his stomach. Witness. Weiss, caretaker of the Social Democratic People's House, Worms, shot. Witness. Unnamed girl, Worms, killed in the raid on the People's House. Witness. Fabian, a communist worker, Kellingshusen, shot at and died in hospital. WTB. Wolf Telegraph Bureau. March 4. 2 unnamed workers, Cologne, severely wounded by shots and subsequently died. WTB. Unnamed member of the Iron Front, Thallischweiler, shot in the street. WTB. Friedrich Marquardt, Düsseldorf, Behrenstrasse 14. No party, killed by blows. Witness. March 5th. Klassen and de Longueville, Oberhausen, Rhine Province, killed in the school courtyard while attempting to escape. Both had bullet wounds in the front of their bodies. Witness. Warnecke, Quickborn, near Pinneberg, shot. WTB. Unnamed Reichsbanner man, Central Germany, stabbed to death. WTB. 2 brothers Bassi, Bankau, Upper Silesia, murdered by stormtroopers. Witness. Karl Tarnow, Berlin, beaten to death in Nessebeckstrasse. Neukölln. Witness. March 6th. Grete Messing, working woman, Selb, shot in the street. WTB. Hans Bauer, worker, no party, never returned from the Nazi barracks in the Hedemannstrasse, Berlin. Witness. Friedlander, a baker's apprentice, 19 years old, murdered in the Nazi barracks in the Hedemannstrasse, Berliner Tageblatt. March 7th. Bernhard Krause, communist worker, Wiesenau, near Frankfurt on the Oder, shot by stormtroopers. WTB. 2 unnamed workers, Hamburg, killed in Nazi raid. WTB. Unnamed worker, Düsseldorf, killed in the Levitzwaustrasse, Telegrafen Union. March 8th. Unnamed communist worker, Billstedt, near Hamburg, shot while trying to escape. WTB. Philipp, caretaker at Trade Union House, Breslau, shot when Nazis occupied the building. WTB. Heinrich Sparlich, building worker, Breslau, killed by a bullet and a knife stab in the back. Deutsche Allgemeine Zeitung. Balschukat, Nischmann, and Preuss, Schöneberg, Berlin. Bodies found in Machnower Forest. Vossische Zeitung. Unnamed communist worker, Volkum, found shot in the street. TU. Unnamed worker, Volkum, shot in his flat by 6 unknown men. TU. Bless, member of the Reichsbanner Offenbach, mortally wounded in a Nazi attack, since died. Witness. March 9th. Unnamed member of the Reichsbanner, Munich, mutilated corpse found in the Munich Trade Union House, which had been occupied by Nazis on March 1st. Witness. Landgraf, director of publishing house Chemnitz, shot when the Volksstimme building was occupied. TU. Helpuch, communist worker, Duisburg, found shot. March 10th. Frau Bix, 70 years of age, Berlin, mortally wounded by stormtroopers who fired through her door. WTB. Hermann, a watchmaker, Dresden, member of International Workers' Relief, beaten to death in his house. Witness. Hans Seile, circulation manager, shot when the Volksfreund offices in Braunschweig were occupied. Witness. Ulrich, leader of the Hessen Social Democrats, beaten to death. Berliner Tageblatt. 2 unnamed workers, Schopau, shot by stormtroopers. Berlin Local Anzeiger. Alfred Petzlaff, communist worker, Schöneberg, Berlin, taken by Nazis from his home, body found mutilated at Priesterweg station. Witness. Schönflügel, a worker, Bernau, Chemnitz, killed by a chance bullet. Berlin Local Anzeiger. March 11th. Erich Meyer, a young worker, Spandau, beaten to death. Frankfurter Zeitung. Robert Dittmar, a worker, Karlshorst, near Berlin, found shot. Berlin Local Anzeiger. Unnamed worker, Breslau, stabbed to death. TU. Forster and Tandler, communist workers, Limbach, near Chemnitz, shot when trying to escape. Witness. Paul Krantz, a young worker, Limbach, near Chemnitz, shot when trying to escape. WTB. Unnamed man, no party, Opeln, shot on the steps of the town hall. Berlin Local Anzeiger. March 12th. Councillor Kresse, Social Democrat, Magdeburg, shot at election station in Felgeleben. TU. Eichholz and Rather, workers, Tolkermith, shot while trying to escape. TU. Spiegel, Social Democratic lawyer, Kiel, attacked at his home and killed. WTB. March 13th. Unknown worker, Elbing, found shot. TU. Heinz Vescha and Erna Knopf, communist councillors. Chemnitz, the first shot in the prison courtyard, the second beaten to death in his cell. Witness. March 14th. Krug, Schweinfurth, shot in self-defense by a Nazi. TU. Unnamed worker, Hamburg, shot by detectives. WTB. March 16th. Dr. Ascher, Berlin, Schweinmund-der-Straße, beaten to death. Witness. Leo Krell, editor, Berlin, beaten to death. Witness. March 17th. 2 unknown persons, Elben, shot when trying to escape. Nachtausgabe. March 18th. Walter Schulz, communist worker, Wittstock, murdered in prison. Witness. Hans Sachs, manufacturer, Chemnitz, shot. WTB. Siegbert Kindermann, Charlottenburg, Berlin, taken to the Hedemannstrasse, beaten to death and thrown from the window. Berliner Tageblatt. Unnamed worker, Wedding, Berlin, beaten to death at Nazi quarters. Witness. March 19th. Krebs, communist worker, Moabit, Berlin, shot by stormtroopers in the street. Witness. March 20th. Gunther Joachim, lawyer, Berlin, tortured, died in Moabit hospital. Vossische Zeitung. Kurt Possener, Berlin, shot. Wiener Blatter. March 21st. Otto Seltz, Straubing, shot. Witness. March 22nd. Walter Boga, Ebersbach, shot while trying to escape. Vossische Zeitung. Wilhelm Wenzel, communist worker, Essen, shot in the street. WTB. Dresche, Dresden, found murdered. Witness. Paul Reuter, Selschauerstrasse, Berlin, beaten to death by storm troopers. Witness. March 23rd. Erich Lange, ex-member of the Nazi Protective Corps, Gelsenkirchen, shot by stormtroopers. Witness. Frank, member of the Reichsbanner, Worms, said to have committed suicide. Unsere Zeitung. Herbert Pengeretz, worker, Bergstrasse, 78, Berlin, brutally treated and died in hospital. Witness. March 24th. Frau Arbetz, a working woman, Gladbach, shot while trying to escape. TU. Eric Perl, 17 years old, Leipzig, shot in the street after release from a Nazi barracks. Witness. House, retired Social Democratic councillor, found shot in Eichlingshöfen. Frankfurter Zeitung. March 25th. Socialist, Wedding, Berlin, maltreated and died in hospital. Witness. Frau Müller, Aue, Saxony, maltreated, said to have committed suicide. Witness. March 27th. Newman, shopkeeper, Königsberg, beaten and used as target. TU. Grothehenne, telegraph fitter, Braunschweig, beaten to death. Witness. Dr. Max Plaut, lawyer, beaten to death in a Nazi barracks. Witness. Max Balecki, Schöneberg, tortured in Nazi barracks and died in hospital. Witness. March 30th. Fritz Roll, worker, Siemensstadt, found stabbed. WTB. Liebel, Vollschlager, Skalitzerstrasse, Berlin, murdered and thrown into the river. Witness. Unknown Jew in Oberhessen, hanged by the feet and died. Manchester Guardian. April 1st. Wilhelm Potter, baker, and Karl Gorman, communist worker, Woldenberg, shot while trying to escape. Vossische Zeitung. Wilhelm Dengmann, steelworker, Duisburg, shot in the street. Vossische Zeitung. Unnamed worker, Munich, shot while trying to escape. Münchner Neueste Nachrichten. Fritz Schum, lawyer, Kiel, beaten to death in prison. TU. Pressburger, cattle dealer, Munich, shot, described as suicide. Münchner Neueste Nachrichten. April 2nd. H. Wertheimer, Kehl, alleged stroke before arrest. WTB. April 3rd. Paul Jaros, Smith, Limbach, near Chemnitz, shot while trying to escape. Unnamed worker, Augsburg, alleged stroke before arrest. TU. Georg Bell, shot by stormtroop men in Austria. Conti WTB. April 4th. Heinz Basler, Düsseldorf, shot while trying to escape. WTB. Wilhelm Drews, worker, Berlin, found shot. Vossische Zeitung. Dr. Philippsthal, Biesdorf, Berlin, beaten to death. Berliner Tageblatt. April 5th. Renoir, communist councillor, Bonn, shot while trying to escape. TU. Sauer, Zubachwitz, member of Social Democratic Party, beaten to death in concentration camp. Neue Welt. Wilhelm Drews, communist worker, Hamburg, shot in the street. TU. April 6th. Max Niedermeyer, communist councillor, Johann Georgenstadt, Saxony, beaten to death in Zwickau prison. Witness. Kurt Friedrich, communist worker, same town, shot. Witness. April 7th. Hanussen, Berlin. TU. See report. April 8th. Unnamed worker, Neukölln, Berlin, beaten to death by storm troops. Witness. April 9th. Walter Kosch, Hamburg, shot. April 10th. Fritz Engler, hairdresser, no politics, Chemnitz, tortured and killed in the Zeissig forest. Witness. April 11th. Max Ruff, Reichsbanner member, Chemnitz, found shot. TU. Dr. Arthur Wiener, lawyer, Chemnitz, found shot. Frankfurter Zeitung. Alvin Hansbach, communist worker, Friedersdorf, Zittau, shot in prison. TU. April 12th. Benario, a lawyer, Arthur Kahn and Erwin Kahn and Goldman, merchants from Nuremberg, shot while trying to escape. Dachau concentration camp. WTB, Deutsche Allgemeine Zeitung. Fritz Kollesche, Charlottenburg, tortured in Nazi barracks, died in hospital. Witness. April 13th, Albert Janka, communist member of the Reichstag, alleged suicide. WTB. Gustav Schönherr, worker, Hamburg, tortured to death. Saarbrück Arbeiter Zeitung. April 15th, Spiro, a Jew, aged 17, Berlin, murdered in Nazi barracks in the Hedemannstrasse. Witness. April 16th, Brett Schneider, Sigmar, Saxony, found shot. WTB. April 18th, Bayer, Krefeld, found shot. Vossische Zeitung. Richard Tollet, communist worker, Königsberg, shot while trying to escape. Frankfurter Zeitung. Unknown communist worker, Königsberg, shot while trying to escape. TU. April 19th, unknown railwayman, Munich, stabbed in the back, described as suicide. Münchner Neueste Nachrichten. Alfred Elker, a Christian, beaten to death by stormtroopers because of his Jewish appearance. Witness. April 20th, Kaminsky, Dortmund, member of anti-fascist league, beaten to death in prison. Witness. April 21st, Fritz Dressel, chairman of communist fraction in the Diet, described as suicide. Münchner Neueste Nachrichten, but reported by witness to have been murdered in Dachau camp. April 22nd, Max Kassel, dairyman, Wiesbaden, shot in his flat. Deutsche Allgemeine Zeitung. Solomon Rosenstrauch, merchant, Wiesbaden, shot in his flat. Deutsche Allgemeine Zeitung. Paul Pabst, worker, alleged suicide in Nazi barracks, Germania. April 23rd, Kurt Benke, a stormtrooper, Berlin, Angriff. Franz Schneider, anti-fascist worker, Goch, Rhineland, alleged suicide in prison. Vossische Zeitung. Konieczny, communist worker, Olsnitz, Erzgebirge, alleged suicide in prison. Vossische Zeitung. April 24th, unknown man, Honor Moore, tarred and burnt, alleged suicide. Volkischer Beobachter. Cordes and Son merchants, Wittmund, near Bremen, shot in a pogrom. WTB. April 25th, Mendel Haber, merchant, Dortmund, shot and his body thrown into the river. Dortmunder General Anzeiger. Two unnamed workers, Heil Lippe, found dead. Volkischer Beobachter. Granitza, worker, Königsberg, shot while trying to escape. Nachthaus Gaba. April 26, Willy Plonske, Berlin, found dead. Angriff. April 27th, Erwin Volkmar, Neukölln, Berlin, alleged unpolitical murder, shot in the street. Angriff. April 28th, unnamed man, Wollenberg, Oberbarnim, shot and burnt. Frankfurter Zeitung. Funk, communist member of the Reichstag, Dortmund, murdered in prison, alleged suicide. Angriff. Fritz Gumbert, communist worker, Heidenau, beaten to death after weeks of torture. April 29th, unknown man, found murdered near Werneuchen in the Mark. WTB. April 30th, Hackstein, communist worker, Gravenbruch, shot while trying to escape. Konische Zeitung. Andres von Flotow, German nationalist landowner, arrested by Nazis and shot while trying to escape. Conti. And April. Unnamed worker, Ebersdorf, Saxony, and Heinz Goldberg, member of Red Sports Organization, shot in the cellar of Hermann Goering House, Lobau. Witness. May 2nd, Rodenstock, Social Democratic Secretary of the Municipal Workers Union, and two unknown trade union officials tortured and beaten to death in Nazi barracks in Duisburg. Witness. Danziger, Jewish merchant, Duisburg, attacked by Nazis and so brutally treated that he died. Witness. May 3rd, Dr. Ernst Oberfohren, chairman of German nationalist fraction in Reichstag, found dead in his Kiel house, described as suicide. May 4th, unnamed member of Stahlhelm, Berlin, shot in Nazi quarters, Saarbrück Arbeiter Zeitung. May 5th, Simon Katz, worker, Polish citizen, beaten to death. Witness: unnamed man, Potsdam, tied up and thrown into the river. Vossische Zeitung. Spangenberg, communist worker, Bredereiche. Templin, alleged suicide in prison. Vossische Zeitung. Unnamed dye worker, Sagan, alleged suicide, murdered in prison. WTB. May 6th, unnamed girl, Grossen, found dead. Angriff. May 8th, Dr. Eckstein, leader of Socialist Labor Party, Breslau, tortured to death. WTB. May 9th, Dr. Meyer, Jewish dentist, Wuppertal, mutilated by Nazis and drowned. Witness: Galanowski, worker, Allenstein, shot while trying to escape. WTB. May 10th, unnamed young worker, member of Red Sports Organization, Wedding, Berlin, murdered in Nazi barracks in the Hedemannstrasse. Witness: May 11th, Biedermann, Social Democratic, member of the Reichstag, Hamburg, described as suicide. Frankfurter Zeitung. Gluckow, communist worker, Berlin, tortured, died in hospital. Witness: May 12th, Sepp Goetz, communist member of the Diet, maltreated and murdered in Dachau concentration camp. Witness: May 13th, unnamed Nazi auxiliary policeman, Kiel, found shot. He had asked when the government was going to carry out its promises. Frankfurter Zeitung. Henseler, communist worker, Düsseldorf, shot. Germania. May 15th, Dr. Alfred Strauss, Munich, a lawyer, age 30, German Jew, beaten to death. Witness: unnamed member, Stahlheim, Berlin, attacked by Nazis and stabbed to death. Witness: Paletti, Schönberg, Berlin, tortured to death. Witness: May 17th, Hermann Riedel, Gladbeck, alleged suicide. Der Tag. Johannes and Wilhelm Barth, Duisburg, beaten to death. Der Tag. May 18th, unknown man, Berlin, alleged suicide. Vossische Zeitung. Holstein, Grevenbroich, shot while trying to escape. WTB. May 19th, Leonard Hausmann, communist official, shot while trying to escape in Dachau concentration camp. WTB. May 20th, Arthur Müller, a worker, member of Reichsbanner, beaten to death in Nazi barracks. General Papestrasse, Berlin. Witness: May 25th, Schloss, a merchant, Nuremberg, shot. Witness: May 26th, Groman, an artist, Duisburg, shot by protective corps men in Kalkumer Wood. Witness: May 27th, Franz Lehrberger, Nuremberg, shot while trying to escape in the Dachau concentration camp. Frankfurt Courier. May 29th, Wilhelm Aron of Bamberg, member of Reichsbanner, shot in Dachau while trying to escape. Bamberger Zeitung. End of May, 2 communist workers shot in Siegburg concentration camp. Witness: June 8th, stormtrooper, Düsseldorf, shot for distributing opposition leaflets. Dortmund, General Anzeiger. June 10th, Karl Lottes, communist worker, shot while trying to escape. WTB. Fritz Kokorenz, a stormtrooper in opposition, found shot in his home, Berlin. Witness: Walter Ernst, found half buried in Hennigsdorf Cemetery, Berlin. WTB. June 12th, unnamed worker, Essen, shot while trying to escape. TU. June 20th, Walter Kersing, worker, member of German Nationalist Youth Organization, Frankfurt on Oder, shot by Nazis in a dispute. WTB. June 21st, Paul Urban, worker, Brandenburg, alleged suicide in prison. Nachtausgabe. 3 unknown men found dead in a pool with their arms and legs bound at Neustadt near Zwickau. 12 Uhr Mittagsblatt. June 22nd. Altenburg. Communist worker Arnswalde Neumark shot while trying to escape. Deutsche Allgemeine Zeitung. Schmaus family, father, mother and son, murdered by stormtroopers. Rakowski, worker, Köpenick, shot by stormtroopers. Johannes Stelling, former premier of Mecklenburg, murdered. Paul von Essen, member of Reichsbanner, Köpenick, beaten to death. June 24th. Arthur May, communist official, Aachen, shot while trying to escape. Police report Aachen. June 26th. Unknown communist worker, Braunschweig, murdered in prison, alleged suicide. WTB. June 29th. Dr. Rosenfelder, lawyer, Nuremberg, murdered in Dachau concentration camp. Witness. End of June. Glasper, local leader of Red Aid organization Elberfeld, Gottschalk. Town councillor Otto Datum, communist councillor, Elberfeld, murdered shortly after release from concentration camp. Body thrown into a river. Erwin Dahler, a young worker found dead, mutilated. Gorsmeier, Elberfeld, shot by Nazis after arrest and thrown into a pool. Unnamed worker. Elberfeld, found shot in the Bernerstrasse. Unnamed worker, Elberfeld, found shot. All of these Elberfeld murders are authenticated in reports from witnesses. Hunglinger, police officer, Munich. Sebastian Nefsger, Munich. Michael Sigmund, Social Democrat, murdered in Dachau concentration camp. Reports from witnesses. July 1st. Max Margoliner, merchant, Breslau, maltreated in the Brown House during April, died in hospital 2 months later. Witness. July 10th. Joseph Nies, journalist, member of Free Thinkers League, Erfurt. Alfred Noll, communist official, Jena, unnamed communist worker, Erfurt. All 3 shot by stormtroopers when the illegal printing press for the Thüringer Volksblatt was discovered. Witness. July 12th. Assmann, member of Reichsbanner, Köpenick, killed in the Köpenick St. Bartholomew's night. Van Tende, communist worker, Essen, political prisoner since October 31, shot while trying to escape. Conti, WTB. Schultz, communist member of Diet, Berlin, died in hospital after maltreatment. Tamms. Fritz Lange, communist worker, Königsberg, lynched. Angriff. Joseph Messinger, communist worker, Bonn, murdered in prison, alleged suicide. Havas Agency. July 14th. Franz Braun, editor of Volkswacht, Stettin, murdered in his cell the day after he was arrested. Conti, WTB. 3 unknown communists, Schwerin, shot while trying to escape on their way to Sonnenberg concentration camp. Vossische Zeitung, unknown communist worker, Stettin, shot. Conti, WTB. Unnamed communist official, Bochum, shot while trying to escape. Vossische Zeitung. July 15th. Speer, a tailor, Berlin, found with his throat cut. Witness. Clara Wagner, typist, Treptow, Berlin, shot. Witness. July 17th. Dr. Wilhelm Schaefer, Frankfurt, ex-Nazi, found shot. Frankfurter Zeitung. July 20th. Unnamed worker, Berlin, found dead at Hirschgarten. Witness. Man, 50 years of age, found dead near Berlin. Witness. Hugo Feddersen, communist worker, Hamburg, murdered in prison, alleged suicide. WTB. Stormtrooper, Obermenzig, near Munich, found shot. He had adopted an opposition standpoint. Conti, WTB. July 24. Erich and Gustav Rudolph, Düringshof, shot while trying to escape. Frankfurter Zeitung. 3 stormtroopers of opposition tendency found shot. Grunwald, Berlin. Witness. Jaskowiak, Nazi of opposition tendency, Leverkusen, shot by a protective corps man in self-defense. Dortmund General Anzeiger. July 29th. Solecki, communist worker, Iserlohn, shot by auxiliary police in self-defense. WTB. Heinrich Fording, communist worker, Coesfeld, thrown from window of police station. Recklinghausen, alleged suicide. WTB. August 1st. 4 workers, Lütjens, Tesch, Wolf and Müller, executed in Altona.